This week on It's Happening Out, with your hosts, gay guru Al Ferguson, lesbian activist FayWhat, pansexual leather daddy Elimination, drag queen and comedian Auntie Maine, Latino muscle bear Jonathan Casanas, Gen Z political advocate Max Venning, Gen Z bear and actor Cameron Glass, leadership coach and leather sure Mark Pettit, Indo-Caribbean artist TriniDaddy, Muslim American communications exec Kal Gajraj. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Good evening and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television talk show. We're broadcasting live and then on demand on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire Television, and of course, YouTube and Facebook. It's 9 p.m. Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. I'm your host, FayWhat. Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students and youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social activism, and faith. Help us support our community. It's time to have some fun. Woo. Let's play our yes or no game. It's called I'd Swallow That. I'm going to make 3 statements, and if the hosts agree, they take a shot. I'd Swallow That. It's sponsored by the LGBTQ plus community's favorite spirit brand,
Bacardi! No, it's Bacardi.
He likes when I say it like that.
I do.
Bacardi is the world's most loved rum brand. Bacardi is as diverse as our LGBTQ plus community. Our neighbors here in South Florida, they are the world's largest privately held spirits company. Bacardi is also a legacy name in their support of the LGBTQ plus community with sponsorships, pride embracements, and deep and passionate support of our LGBTQ plus charities and causes. And that's why tonight it's happening out. I'd swallow that with our favorite rum drink, Bacardi. All right, folks, are we ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, vamos. Gay wolves. That's it.
Yeah.
Gay wolves. No, okay. Gay wolves are defined by their chiseled bodies, unyielding masculinity, and ravenous sexuality. There's a reason wolves are considered apex predators, but in the gay animal kingdom, they only prey on the consensual hearts that lust after them. Gay wolves embody shameless manhood and desire. Gay wolves present seldom goes unnoticed with a Bacardi shot. I'd swallow that. Lions and tigers and otters, but I've never heard of gay wolves.
Yeah, same.
No, I've heard of them.
No,
I've actually heard of them.
It's like we're trying to make fetch happen. Like, relax. Like, you're gay. Like, wolves are just gay guys. They're chiseled men.
They're just hot gay guys.
Yeah.
They're hot gay guys.
I mean, they sound like vampires. Why don't you call yourself a vampire? You're out. They're in the queerty.
No, but that's skinny and pale.
It was like, no, but they were like, you're nocturnal, seeking out things that you want, and you'll get it. Yeah, bitch.
Pretty much that part.
My
right?
understanding of gay wolves was actually the preconceived notion of silver fox. They were these silver-haired, great, salt and peppered, skinnier, slightly chiseled, hairy men. So, they were the, older otters of the time, and they didn't really have a term for that. And that's what
older otters.
Older otters.
Okay.
But, a silver fox, meh. That's canonically used by straight women primarily, so wolves were used a lot in the early 2000s. And
really? So this is not like a new thing?
So, no, it's not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And I actually know folks within the leather community who identify as wolves. Not just within like kink and critter type where, I do know folks who even embody the wolf spirit, but folks who identify wolves and so in their play and their mannerism and how they act, so there's many animals out here in the world that people, I will share a secret. Last show you shared a secret. So growing up, my family looked at me, and because of my mannerisms and how I act, they called me Tiger. So my nickname is Tiger throughout my entire family because I was a crazy animal who jumped over everything.
El tigre.
Yeah.
He looks like a Dominican tigre, right?
So literally they had to tie a rope around my waist and tie me to the front door. So I wouldn't just go pray in front of
The story took a turn.
Wow!
We don't
totally with you, baby.
Mannerisms, so it goes beyond a chisel body. It goes into your mannerisms and how you live and how you go about your life and your lifestyle.
That's cool. cool.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, go Cal.
No, so I said this wasn't born out of like Wolverine because going back to the guy with the white tank top on, like he looks like Wolverine from like the Marvel movie. So I thought for me, because I didn't know it had existed prior, always heard the term, but I thought it was something that was mimicking like the Marvel character.
Wow, okay, but it wasn't.
I was looking it up like not too long ago because my friend.
Because you were thinking maybe you're a wolf?
No, my friend is a wolf.
Okay.
But I thought that that's what he would be because he's not really like a bear, but I guess that's the closest thing he had.
Okay.
So then I was trying to look up what I am, but I have no idea if there's like a term for.
Okay, so let's explore that a second.
Let's explore it.
All right, so we have bears, right? I've heard of cubs.
Yes.
I've heard of otters.
Yes. Oh my.
Right?
There are tigers.
What else?
There's tigers. There's a whole bunch of critters.
Are there lions?
There are lions.
What? There's a whole bunch of critters?
Yeah, so there is ponies.
Pups,
there are ponies,
cats,
pups, kittens. Ponies, pup, kittens, and so it depends. Not necessarily as you mentioned, not always about body style, but mannerisms and how you go about your play. When you walk into the club, what do you feel about yourself? What do you show about yourself? And so there are folks who when they put on kitten items, they feel stronger. They feel more seen. They feel more empowered.
But I think this article or whatever, this segment taken from this Gritty article was only suggesting that these type of men
and body style, body style,
right? And no, but it was more personality wise. They get what they want. They go after.
They're assertive. They get their shit.
Yeah.
So it's sure it's kind of it's part personality, but mannerism is a little different. I like where this is going though, where depending on how you act or how you want to respond to something, you can identify as an animal. That's something different. This I feel is a little more generic. I feel like.
This is not substantial as like what Elimination say, right? Like
I want this to go deeper because I'm sure wolf means a lot more than this.
But do you all identify with any of these terms?
So I'm like you. When I read the article, I was like, they're really not. They gave us a line about how the kink community, like leather. It was like leather. Wolves is both in leather. But yeah, so I will be honest. For me, I share with you, I grew into Tiger, so that was all I knew.
Yeah.
And so when I go into a scene or when I go into play, I stalk my prey. I look at my prey. I devour my prey, and I'm done.
Yum.
And so I know
I love that.
That was kind of hot.
Other kittens who do that.
I'm like,
He was looking at you when he said.
I was like,
I'll beat that box out real quick. I would never be the same.
I would never walk the same again.
I would aim for that reason. Y'all be like, why can't he sit down and be like,
and he hits the second
elimination.
the second, not the second hole.
Not the second hole.
And both orifices, baby. And both orifices. What you
There you
got?
go. All right, let's move on to question number 2, folks. Oh my goodness. Woo! Hot in here all of a sudden. Gives me a... The fabulous out filmmaker John Waters, known for such films as Pink Flamingos, Female Trouble, Desperate Living, Hairspray, and others, finally received a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. He was surrounded by loads of fans and well-wishers. The 77-year-old, who has long been referred to as a maestro of trash films or the king of filth, said, quote, "God, here I am, closer to the gutter than ever," end quote. With a Bacardi shot, I'd swallow that. John Waters was overdue for a Walk of Fame star.
Yeah, sure, why not?
For us queers, yes,
Why not?
absolutely.
Come on, everybody gets a freaking star.
Well,
Come on.
but that's what I was going to say, because I don't know if you guys know like the history behind the whole Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's not as prestigious as you may think, because it's actually a project that's done by the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
Oh.
So they go through every year, and they actually, through their categories like arts and film and culture and history and whatever, they'll invite people to be part of that, and you actually have to pay for it.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether it's like $30,000 or
Yep.
something, that's you're paying for your
Spot.
spot on the Walk of Fame. You just have to be invited to participate.
Girl.
I will say, I've gone to, and then we'll get into John Waters. I've gone into LA, and I've walked the streets looking at the star. He is not wrong when he said he's closer to the gutter. A lot of these stars are sitting next to the gutter.
Yeah.
Like it is disgusting. There's crackheads sleeping on John Waters right now, for sure.
You gave me
For
a
sure.
dollar. Yeah.
With John Waters, he said he wants folks who need that inspiration to stand by, to walk over top of him, squat over top of him. Like he gets off on that. I mean, and that was his quote. So, but I think, Crybaby, who does not love the Crybaby movie?
Wow.
As crazy as it was.
Johnny
for
Depp,
Hairspray,
right?
Yes.
Whoa.
Hairspray, being a Baltimorean, Trump City rules, I think, we have to realize that no matter what the age, you don't need a star to still make an impact in the world. You don't need a title to make an impact in the world. And so that's what I got from reading this and seeing this and his inspiration. And he's showing his people who are getting downtrodden that your films are not going to be anything, or he's inspiring folks to keep doing what you do, because you'll eventually have a star in the gutter.
In the gutter, next to the dive bar off Yucca, next to Hollywood Boulevard.
You know, fun fact, there's only one star that's not on the sidewalk. Do you know who it is?
Who?
It's Muhammad Ali.
And where is
Because he requested that his star be hung on the wall so no one steps on his name.
Wow.
Ah.
He's the only person that has a...
Is that because he's Muslim? Was that something to do with his religion or anything?
I don't know.
They
I don't
do
know.
have
I
a
don't
no.
know,
That is
but-
in Muslim religion. You do not show other people your feet. Yeah.
And it's freaking Muhammad Ali. I mean, you're not gonna tell him
Also,
right?
You know, as a person, think about the trials and tribulations he had to go through, though. You will never step on my name. You never tarnish my name. You never treat my name.
So I don't think it's about religion. I just think it's about respect.
It's respect
for his name. Yeah.
So I'm going about that.
Regardless.
I'm glad John Waters got his spot, because like I don't know if I would look at any of his films and just say like, well, this is like I don't know, like
They're more like cult classics, Trini. They're not educational. They're very campy.
No, but they are. But there is something more to it, deeper to it, because when I was a queer kid, didn't know I was a queer kid. Like I would watch the independent film channel and Sundance. That was kind of my outlet, like where I saw things that I didn't see in Homestead, and I was like, you know. So there's like a bigger world out here. There's something else, and there's something I'm strangely attracted to. And it was all of his films were being shown. And so I'd watch it and I'd just sit there, like, you know, in the middle of the field and just be like, there's something to this guy's work. And I can't put my finger on what it is and why it resonates, but it does. And so good on you, man.
You mean watching Sundance as a kid didn't give it away for you?
That you were gay? That didn't tell you?
No, we had a cheater box of cable out there.
Got it. Did you watch the gay porn channels?
Funny enough, okay, so I had the Playboy channel in my room since I was like maybe eighth grade, ninth grade, and my friends would come over, we'd watch Playboy and everything.
And masturbate?
Circle jerk.
Together?
We did it. And but the thing was,
You had bad friends. You didn't have any good friends.
But the thing was is that I wasn't into the dudes at all. All I wanted to see was the women. And then I'd be like, man, I wish these guys would get out of the way. And at some point, there was like a change. And I was like, maybe you don't need to get out of the way.
I will say, actors
Yours
serve
is what?
a star.
Angle. Like it's just there's a certain camera shot where the man is inside the woman.
No,
I've been watching it from the
but there's an element of
that POV moment.
when it begins to glisten, when you see the meat, absolutely, it's the best thing ever. But speaking of porn, remember in Crybaby when he had the porn actress star as in the movie?
Yes.
I can't think of her name, but like, so he gave us so many folks that star Ricky Lake, you know, Devon.
Wow, we got it.
Divine.
I mean, and I can share with you again, being from Baltimore, I know several folks who went like School of the Arts who would be extras and would be there in a dancing scene and just be hanging out like, and me not understanding how you could be famous. So I went to middle school with Josh Charles, who's an actor and been in several things. Never understanding how you could be famous just by being an extra. How it could lead me being like, I'm not gonna be that guy go stand in lines. I don't stand in lines. My people stand to the lines way too long. I'm never doing that. Dummy. I could have been, you know.
You could have been in it.
Right. You know,
Listen,
so those things.
Look, I mean, unfortunately, I have to say that if he weren't queer or gay, maybe he would have gotten his star a long time ago.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? I'm sorry to say, but super truly deserved, and congratulations. So just like LGBTQ plus on Wilton Drive, we're taking a lot of shots. Let's take a momentary break and hear from our sponsor, Bacardi Rum. Eso, gracias, Bacardi. Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church right here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m. every week. Let's discuss It's Happening Out's Hot Topic this week. It's sponsored by the American retail chain Hot Topic, with nearly 700 locations specializing in counterculture-related clothing and accessories representing many varied interests of the LGBTQ plus community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and more. Hot Topic features one of the largest collections of Pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of the LGBTQ plus community. Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBTQ plus organizations. And that's why they are the sponsor of It's Happening Out's Hot Topic. October was National LGBT History Month. While celebrating the community and its history, we honor Pride's radical origins at the Stonewall Inn in 1969. But what we don't often hear about are the other political actions and uprisings that have advanced the LGBTQ plus rights movements from as far back as the 1920s through today. Crucial milestones like the 1920s, the Society for Human Rights, 1950s foundation of the Mattachine Society, and the Daughters of Bilitis. Compton's Cafeteria Riot of 1960s, and starting the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence and organizing Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, STAR, in 1970s. Through spreading across a span of a few decades have helped shape LGBT history. This month, we should proudly celebrate everything and everybody who is queer, known or unknown, from the past or from the future or from anywhere in between. This week's Hot Topic is LGBTQ plus History Month has ended, and many people still don't know the fight started long before Stonewall. What's everybody think?
And it's true.
¿Qué piensan?
Mija, listen, a lot of things a lot of things are not taught in schools. I came from a school here in Broward County. I learned nothing.
Nothing at all.
The GSA was maybe 4 people and 1 teacher, and that was throughout all middle and high school. And, you know, a lot of that comes from what parents want to have their kids be taught and what teachers want to actually teach. And I want to especially point out that, you know, Palm Beach almost unanimously allowed, as a committee of school, they almost unanimously voted for October to be recognized as LGBTQ plus History Month. One person did not vote for it, unfortunately, while, you know, Broward and Miami-Dade were very divided on that. So there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of education that's not happening. I'm a youthful, still 24 until December, young gay. I know everyone else looks so old here, who doesn't know a lot of history. Half the shit Faye just talked about, I haven't heard of. And that says something.
So I'm gonna say that the fact.
Pan back to Cameron real quick. Can you pan back to Cameron real quick?
Can you do a close up? Can you?
Okay.
We were
now.
all thinking it.
We're done.
Yes. Oh my gosh! So we were all thinking it because I was about to go right in there. Bitch, you might be the youngest one, but you don't even. You howling sure don't look like it.
Everyone's gonna be in history.
Yeah. Right,
You were gonna be history.
right here today. So. The blessing that you had a GSA. A lot of us never
didn't
knew
have that,
what
no.
that was, and so you know that's a blessing. Some of us did not.
No,
and
absolutely.
so
I'm old.
and doing the research, learning about the 1960 that cafeteria riot was amazing because, you know, even in Compton, the marginalized stories in marginalized communities, we don't share our stories enough because it leads to violence. You know, with the police being taken over, which is not always a positive thing. Or it leads to hurt. People disappear. So we don't often have the ability to share those stories. And so I love reading about that. And even as sisters, you know, luckily here in the leather community, here in South Florida, I happen to know someone who was around during those San Francisco days. Also, shout out to our production, who was a member
David
of
Hopkins,
the Sisters.
who was
See, I was trying to, I said production, but she went out all names. So
Please,
shout out to David.
come on, he wants
Come on. But
That's Hopkins with an H.
with an H, with a capital D, with a capital D. But who shared with me some of the history, and one of the things that he enlightened me with was that the reason that they wore makeup, because, you know, during that time when you went out and did that work, you also got pointed at, you also got treated differently, you also got put in, you lost your job, you lost those things, and so they wore that make to hide who they are, to still do the good work.
Wow.
And so he shared with me photos of some of the people who are not even still around today, but he's able to share those stories. And what I did was I begged of him, please share this with somebody else. Somebody else needs to know the good work, that you do, because he's no longer a sister as well, but that you have done this, you have laid the foundation, so we can now take the mantle and keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. At Ford Miami, what we started to do was interview people in the community that were doing great things, that have, real knowledge of, firsthand knowledge of the history, of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach is what's happening, including Anita Bryant. We would interview people, and we have archives of these videos, and we keep them just in case the museum wants them. And we're going to create like an archive of these kind of historic landmarks or monumental moments that have happened. We don't expect these schools to teach our history.
Wow.
They didn't teach us about Black history. Why the fuck would they teach us about LGBTQ plus history? I'm not expecting them to do that. I didn't learn mine from school. I learned it from people before me and from documentaries, to be honest. And even that, we get our shit wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of our
it's like playing telephone. You know, it changes. Every single time that you tell the story.
So I don't expect them. I'm not going to get mad at it. I just know that my job is to continue to share my stories and what I've learned with the youth. Maybe not Cameron. Cameron now is considered history, but we should still continue to do that because I can't expect, and nor should you expect, anyone else to do our job for us.
Right.
No, for real. And, with all these anti-LGBTQ plus laws and don't say gay and all that, they're trying to erase us. They don't want any kind of history that pinpoints that we were a part of anything in the past, And this is exactly what they're doing by not teaching the history in school. So what Forward Miami's doing, or, what Caoba's doing for also BIPOC folks,
absolutely,
it's so important because we're being erased.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And you're saying maybe not to Cameron, but you know what, Papi? You're in your 40s. He's in his 20s.
I'm not in my 40s, fuck.
Papi, it's our job. Listen to me.
No, you're right.
It's our job to teach these fuckers how it went for us and other people. We need to go to our older folks and find out what they did to help us get here.
And we're still alive and we're still kicking. And so speak on that level. Last week was Miss Major Griffin Gracie's birthday, who is one of the fighters at Stonewall, and she's still celebrating her birthday, still living her life.
What?
Purchased her book. She's a new book. She's also doing touring now. So we have to listen to those elders. We have to now pay respect to those people. Although Cameron says he's the youngest one, but look like the oldest, we have to now give the foundation to say stop running off of this and open up these, and so you can now take this history because we're blessed. But tomorrow we may not be, but we need you to pass these stories on. And that's what's important. We can no longer hide behind the fact of having gone arrested or having been taken away and been kidnapped and having to fight for your life to come back and tell a story.
And to that, I think people, sometimes like I'm done being an activist. Like I'm done trying to teach people, trying to reach people to where they're at. But in this instance, like it's so much, it's rewarding to see someone light up when they figure out what it was like for me. Like when you show someone, bitch, I didn't have a cell phone in my time. I had to run and knock to your house.
There was no grinder.
It's like,
there was no grinder.
You had to keep a quarter. You had to keep a quarter inside your phone to go to the payphone.
Yeah, I had a beeper.
Right.
Then I had a beeper. You know what I mean? We had so much before
and a code.
that.
Yeah.
They don't know how to use a rotary phone. Like when their lights are going to turn on when you show them what it was like. Yeah. They may not receive anything from it in terms of like how they're going to progress in their life, but they're going to appreciate what it took for us to get to where we are today.
Exactly. And that's the thing is appreciation. Yeah. Nobody appreciates the ones before us. Now, we spoke about Stonewall, right? During that time, if you got caught at one of these places, your picture was put in the paper.
It's crazy.
Your name was put in the paper. So if you weren't out to your family or to the organization you worked at, guess what, baby? You had a pink slip when you got to work. Your whole world was destroyed for just being queer. Okay? These young kids don't understand that. If you were a girl and you wore a jacket and a tie, if you had more than 2 pieces of clothing on that didn't meet your gender specifics, you were arrested. And this is not too long ago.
And so folks think they think San Francisco has always been gay. So we talked about those cafeteria rides in San Francisco at the Tenderloin. And so you mentioned about the women who wore a suit. You dressed inappropriately, arrested. Our trans women, arrested. Gay hustlers, arrested.
You know where that started, right? That started before San Francisco started in Miami.
Oh, that part.
We led in the most traumatic experiences in the history of LGBTQ+. Wow. It was before Stonewall. Miami started that bullshit. Then Anita Bryant came. But all that happened in San Francisco was because they learned from what happened in Miami. And people don't know that. They don't realize that. And we had an exhibit here in the Miami Museum that showed all of that. Wow. People didn't show up, so people don't know.
Wow.
We were the forefront of the LGBTQ+ history.
And talking about not showing up, so 2 things. Number 1, shout out to the Palm Beach County Public School District who just recently passed the LGBTQ+ History Month, and it'll be recognized in the 24-25 school calendar year next
Isn't that
year.
what Cameron said?
It is,
Yeah.
but
So-
I was voice.
But I just
I was
wanted
like,
to
wait a minute. I'm like, it's a fucking
sounds better than
echo.
it, bro.
I'm like, is it an echo?
I just wanted to congratulate you.
I don't let nobody go by. I don't care if it's my bestie. He still don't get over.
I said it better. So anyway.
We're uplifting Brown.
Right.
I heard it in a brown voice. It
Two
sounded
things
different in a brown
also
voice.
about not being part of the discussion. So I attended some of these meetings from Miami-Dade County Public Schools and Broward County Public Schools. And 10 to 1, they outnumbered us talking against LGBTQ plus History Month. There wasn't enough of us there fighting for this. And it's our community's fault. We weren't there to talk about why this was so much important. I wish Max was here to talk about it because he was actually at one of the district meetings. You know, at 21 years old, you know, I'm a product of the Broward County Public School System. He's a product of the Palm Beach County Public School System. And, you know, he was there advocating for us. But there was more of them talking about why, you know, we shouldn't do this. And it's because of the narrative that they've painted. They painted this narrative that LGBTQ plus History Month is basically having pride in schools, which is not the case. But that's the narrative that they painted, and that's the narrative that the school board voted on because we weren't there to represent our LGBTQ plus history, or, you know, those who have come before us that are actually history makers of like why we need this month and why we need to learn, you know, because we existed and we're always going to exist and we're going to exist. But the problem is our community is just interested in going to pool parties.
So no,
I'm sorry to say that. Let me finish what I'm saying because, you know, there was a call for people to go to these school board meetings, for people to come out and support in numbers. No one showed up. But when
Did you show up?
Yeah, I went. Mm-hmm. You know, so but when there's a pool party, when there's Pride, you know, when there's all these events, people show up in droves.
Before you jump in
and
on
I'm
that,
sorry, but it's a really important part because we can't sit here and talk about, oh, you know, woe is me, you know, and fuck everybody else because this didn't happen. Where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
Why wasn't anyone at these school board meetings talking about our history?
Yeah.
So I learned about my gay history before I was gay. Before I even knew I was gay. Again, man, Sundance and the independent film channel was coming through in the 90s, right? And so I remember watching all of these documentaries. One of them was called The Celluloid Closet. And it was about, because we all know in Hollywood, there were gay people left and right. You know,
beginning of time.
Yeah, and so they left clues for all the gay people to come down the pipeline. And so they told us how to like recognize when it was like, hey, this was supposed to be a girl here. The reason why we put this person here was because we're trying to show you that we support you, right? So I kind of went into my 20s as a straight guy going like, hey, y'all, did you realize that all of this shit is gay? Like, and people are, you know, it's like they're reaching from the grave to like try to make things happen. So I would try to like, you know, understand all these things from the 1920s, all this iconography that you're showing right now on there. Like, I researched all of this stuff, right? And then I realized like how difficult it was for me to talk about it because unless you were around people who were accepting of gay people, ain't nobody want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, and your family doesn't want to hear that. Like, and to your point about, you know, in the 20s and stuff, I remember back in my 20s, like, in my town, it was most like it was the early 90s, but it might have as well been like the early 70s, like how backwards it was and how like super podunk, like Southern it was. And like trying to talk to these people and like make younger people understand how difficult it was. And like to understand sometimes the points of views that maybe when younger people are like, saying, no, you all should be so progressive, you should be do that, like not understanding like how difficult that struggle was and like how we came through on it on the other end. So I do think that generational thing, like we need to have more understanding for each other. And to Cal's other point about
it's only a half hour show.
I know,
already.
but to Cal's other point about showing up, I felt that way in this community for 10, 15 years. Ever since I came out, I've never been able to find my place because that's kind of where my place was. And I've never really felt it in
So do you show up at board meetings?
I do show up things. Like yeah. I was watching Max on there and I was texting him while I was there, like, good job, Max, you know?
You was watching him when you were there?
I couldn't be there. I was working.
So
on on that particular day, but I show up.
Listen, last comment.
Perfect. Let me land this. So to your point, absolutely, the pool parties. You're right, because I'm not invited to those pool parties, as we all know. So let's go there. But a lot of times it's fear, because the thing is, when they have those meetings and you stand up, your name goes on a paper. Your name is now ostracized. Your name is put out in public. So you may lose your job. You may lose an opportunity. So we still have that fear among us because of the government, because of those things. So a lot of people are not standing up. A lot of people are not showing their strength. A couple years ago, a bookstore was raided. People who just banned kinky sex, their names were put all in Broward County publications. They lost their jobs just for being caught having sex. Lewd, lascivious is what they put it. So there's fear amongst those things. Not that people don't care. They're just afraid of the retribution that comes by standing up and taking a stand.
But these bigots aren't afraid to go there.
All right, guys,
and talk against
we're done. We're done. Okay. LGBTQ History Month is important. They want to see race.
Yes.
Educate yourselves and educate your little millennial friends, or maybe educate the millennial you're effing tonight. All right?
Effing tonight.
That's it. Well, that's it, folks. Another week with It's Happening Out. You sat right here at the LGBTQ plus kitchen table as we kikied on the things that are important to our community. And here we are in November. It is time for gratitude. And I have a call to action for all you out there. You know, we're very dramatic in our community. Woe is me. Oh my God. You know, things could be worse. Okay. Here's your call to action. Now, the beginning of November until Thanksgiving, every day, write down 3 things that you're grateful for. All right. It's a chore. The first couple of days, you're going to be, whatever. Trust me. You'll start appreciating more that you have. All right. You have a lot more than you give credit to. The universe has your back, and you've got to give it its flowers as well. So, folks, we invite you to follow our 501c3 nonprofit experiment. Is our LGBTQ plus community important to you? Our mission means that we deeply believe it is. Thank you for joining us and taking a little time to have some fun with us, right? I'm FayWhat! And remember, if it's important to you,
it's happening out.
Buenas noches.